that would appear that one loses the art of conversation, or you forget bits. And last night I was over at Jennifer's on the island, and after dinner we were talking about stuff, and I was saying to these Nikki and Graham and Nikki and Bernice, just generally chatting. I was saying about childhood, and Bernice was a child psychologist or something, and only children and so on. And I said, oh yeah, I said one of these things. One of the things I had to do, when my father had a new bunch of kids, is I would be up at like 5 every morning. I mean, before dawn, like clockwork, to change nappies in days when there wasn't disposable diapers, as they're called, like real nappies, and it was my job to do that, And I wanted to continue with the story, but their reaction was like, oh man, you had to do that? I'm going, well, yeah. And then I mentioned slightly, I knew how to wind them and burp them, but I got sidetracked with my story. And they were all going, well, and I'm saying, no, it wasn't that bad. And I forgot where I was going with the story. The important part was, yeah, sure, I had to deal with shit first thing in the morning and so on. But when I say, look for silver linings, that actually turned out to be a grand thing. And how does cleaning little bums at 5 in the morning a grand thing? I'll tell you how. I said, because I was a late developer. All my mates were like, growing hair and getting bigger, and I was scared I was never going to grow. And they all suddenly took an interest in girls, and it was unfair because I'd like them all along. And anyway, so I tried in sport, but I had something the jocks didn't see. I quickly learned, because I was at a co-ed school before they fucking sent me off to a boys' school. The girls, I'd go in and say, Joe, you wouldn't believe what I did this morning, and the stink, puff, and then and I regaled because I made it really funny, and I knew all about, stork nappy service to take away. I knew about ringworm from the sandpit, and I knew about burping and how they vomit on you, and how to amuse them, and I had, God damn it, girls were suddenly like, they loved my stories. It's, you're going to make a great husband. Well, they didn't say it in that accent. David's going to make a great husband. So, yeah, what I'm saying is, and actually, I go back, my brain, when I'm doing this, going, this is going to be funny when they drank gentian varnish, or, the one got its nappy off and wiped the whole place full of poo. That sort of stuff. It was hilarious. And so it's not the tragedy that people immediately portray. It's all I'm trying to say. There's always another side you can look at and find the funny thing out of it.